Hello and welcome, it's Peter here, Piotr Fistner. How you doing, guys? So, in today's episode will be a quick video. Ooh, my glasses have made this. Will be a quick video. One of the guys who are starting to learn fixing TVs have sent me a video on WhatsApp. Excuse me. So I want to show you the video first. Okay. So let us watch. It's just seconds, like 18 seconds. So he wrote that the TV constantly restarts. Yes, and he said that he thinks it's a motherboard issue. Okay. So let us finish the video. How many? It's just 3 seconds. Okay, 2, 1. Voila. Okay. So I do believe that the least of the problem would be here a motherboard. And yes, we have cases even with OLED TVs, which this we can all agree that it's looking like LCD TV rather than OLED, where it is restarting because some of the voltages are not present. Like one of my technicians have found one diode, yes, just regular silicon diode, which was cracked, yes, and then when he replaced that diode, the TV automatically has boot up and powered on, yes, because it's overheating on power supply section. So yes, we've seen it, but then at least you see something like a logo, yes. Here we don't see it. So what I think it can be faulty, I would say probably LVDS signal is shorted either inside the LCD panel or on the controller board underneath the LCD panel, which is hooked up through COFs, chips on film. And I do believe that the problem is there. Yes, wait a sec, guys. Sorry, guys. So the easiest way to check it is to disconnect. That depends, because Samsung you can disconnect the motherboard and use only plug in the power supply and the backlight, and it will power on and it will show you the picture. I mean, not the picture, but the backlight on. So then you will know that the backlight can be constantly supplied with voltage, and that's not the cause of a backlight. Yes. Whereas with other brands, you've got power on pin from the power supply to the motherboard and back, so that it's switching on the main section of the power supply, not just the standby. Okay, and in that case, like with Sony, you can you can disconnect one pin, pick it out, and then ground it. So when it's at the 0 volts, everything is hunky-dory and the power supply will boot up. And that depends on the brands, yes, but most of the time you can find how the power supply works and what is the pin out, and then you will know where you should get 0 volts, let's say, to power on the power supply. Because if there's 3.3 volt or something, then that's a standby mode for the power supply and it will never power on. Now what I would do in this way, in this thing, I would, if there are more than one, if there are 2 connectors to the display from the motherboard or from the T-con, I would disconnect one. Then I would turn the TV on. If nothing, I would swap them. Connect the disconnected one and unconnect the other one. Turn it on. If there's still nothing, then I would have to check the voltages which are coming from the motherboard, and that would require a knowledge what are the LVDS signals. Like VCC is the voltage incoming from the motherboard, which is about 30 volts. If that voltage is not coming, then there is a problem either on the panel side or on the motherboard. Excuse me. If there is a T-con, if the T-con receives 12 volts, I do believe it in this case will be. It's looking like the panel fault. to me, and least chance that I'm wrong. I would love to be wrong, but maybe I would learn something new, but I doubt it. And then all the other signals as well, yes, like what is the VDD signal, what is VGH, VGL, yes, clock, all of those signals, learning about those signals and understanding them, because they are not coming from one place. Usually they coming from two places to the panel, yes. And on the bigger displays you've got side cuffs as well. So if you don't understand how these things are working, it's quite difficult for you to recognize the fault. But this is most likely the panel. I would still plug in the way that I would see that the backlight can be lit up and have a constant light. If I would have that one, I would check LVDS signals if are present, and only if LVDS are present, all of them, then I would maybe consider swapping main board, yes, or if there's a T-con and the main board, I would try to swap them both. If this would be actually a Sony TV, you would have to, excuse me, marry again stuff together, because these TVs are special and you can't just replace the motherboard. It won't simply work, yes. So hey ho, another lesson. But that's all I would do, yes, and that's how I would address the issue here. If anybody knows of anything better, please let me know, but for sure I would do it this way, and I would know. Don't believe that it's not a motherboard, and or maybe I would be surprised and that would be motherboard, yes. But power supply has its own outputs as well, and it's only 12 volts usually to the main board. A standby voltage, which is usually 3.3 volts, and then depend on the size of the backlight and technology used, it can be anything from, I would say, 150 to 100 volts, yes, roughly on the backlight. But in the QLED or in the edge backlight you can see less, and it's because less sections are supplied simultaneously, and that's why you can see less than 100 volts in those sections. So that's it. Thank you guys for watching, and see you in the next video. Bye bye.